welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our coverage of the HomeStory Cup 28 Revelation Retake. We're here, we are back, and we are halfway through the broadcast of Group A. We're covering Group A, of course. We just wrapped up with 3 best of 3s, and we have 3 best of 3s remaining. Up next, we have Lambo versus uThermal. uThermal, he has been hyper aggressive and hyper cheesy throughout the entire broadcast so far, and I would imagine that trend will continue. Coming into Lambo series as well, and I'm most curious to see if uThermal does switch races. Last series he did switch race, playing Terran, Protoss, and Zerg. We'll see if that trend continues here or if he commits to pure Terran. Let's go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner here of Winter Madness, we have the German Zerg player, the red Zerg representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Lambo. There we go. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Blue Terran player himself. And in the Netherlands, it is uThermal. Here we go. We're getting into our TVZ. We're getting into our 4th best of 3 of the broadcast. And again, our eyes are on uThermal. We're expecting him to cheese, to proxy, to all-ins every game in this series. And we'll see what kind of aggression he goes for this time. There are a lot of variations you can embrace, of course, going into, say, Blue Flame Hellbats, to get into BC-based builds as well, going into proxies. There are some wild builds where you can go into, like, Fast Ghost, for example. Like, I'm just trying to think a little bit more abstract and think a little bit more outside the box, as we do not expect to see standard play out of uThermal. Like, there are some standard all-ins you could go for, like a 3-base 8 racks, for example, was very common last year and was very prevalent in the meta. So there are some more like common all-ins, but I don't really know if uThermal's one to embrace that. We'll see. He often does his own thing. For now, standard opener, racks expand, getting toward our own natural. So far, so good. As uThermal, he is moving out, playing it safe. Again, just hatch gas pool, standard play out of Lambo. We don't really expect to see Lambo deviate. It's going to be more about Lambo reacting to what uThermal's up to. Will be more about those reactions. From here, uThermal, he does pick out. Still just playing standard, getting towards a reactor, into factory, into add-on swap, into Hellion production. The question becomes from here, does he go for a 3rd CC, does he go for a starboard, does he go for a 2nd racks, or a 2nd factory? Eyes are on uThermal. Hooks in, pulls away. Lambo confirms the initial setup. He has yet to go in with his Overlord, yet to. And it is going to be a 1-1-1. Okay, so we have a much more aggressive follow-up here by uThermal. Going for the 1-1-1, going and committing into additional Hellions, into Banshee play. Technically, this can lead into BC. Oh, never mind. It is going to be a double factory mass Hellion. This can lead into Blue Flame. This can lead into an armory, into Hellbats. So again, 2 base all in out of uThermal. Building up, he's committing. Again, we expected something on 2 base, and now we have confirmation. Does he go into Stim? No, he does go for the add-on swap instead. Building up into Cloak Banshee. No. Viking first. Okay, I mean, this does make sense. The purpose of the Viking is to hunt down the Overlord, and the purpose of the Tech Lab here is to make it look like he's playing standard as a follow-up. So cheeky moves by uThermal. Overlord pokes in. The scout should be denied. As Lambo, he only sees the 1-1-1. And should spot the Viking at least. The Viking is a bit of a tell. There we go. Vikings revealed. That is a bit of a tell. Blue Flame is being researched. And Lambo throws on the Roach one. Playing it safe. So good call. Good call. Good reaction. Throws down the Warren. Thermal tries to give it in. It's a couple of volleys off, nothing crazy. Lack of SimCity here is a little bit concerning. But it should be fine once Lambo builds up his roaches. Should be fine. Cloak is being researched. uThermal is going into Hellion Banshee. Safety spores are on the way. Lair as well. And I'll be honest, so far, Lambo's looking solid. Like, so Lambo is just going for all the correct calls. Getting spores, lair, roach production. That's all he needs. uThermal is expanding. Third CC is on the way. But he has to make this worth it. Remember, it's a late third. uThermal coming up the ramp. Queen's out of position, okay. Yeah, Queen's out of position. Lings, they do attempt to surround. Hellies, they rotate over towards the third. Nice Evo Chamber blocks. Yeah, nice blocks, nice cancellation. Nice moves here by Lambo. Ay, ay, ay. Controls well. And uThermal does not get in. There's that SimCity. Throws down to Evo Chambers, does wall up. And again, uThermal, he's embracing mech. Embracing mech. Getting to 4 factories. Oh, at the same time, bases, they hit the natural. Not bad. 4, 5, 6 drone kills. Very nice. Catching out 6 drones, slipping into the main. Getting into 7, 8, 9, 10 drone kills. Oh my god, this is getting out of hand. Lambo. Yeah, late reactions by Lambo. He was distracted. 12 drones go down for 1 Banshee. And uThermal's in this. He's very much so in this game. Securing his third. Now moving out. That's a lot of Hellions. And total it's going to be 15 dead workers. Ay, ay, ay. 13 of them on this 1 Banshee. Let's catch out some tumors. uThermal building up his tank counts. Bearing in mind, there's no battle mech, just Hellion in the tank. Cyclones are not as useful as they once were. Battle mech is not as viable. Oh, and this is a late setup here from Lambo. Lambo going for the Hive, going for the Spire. Muta play can work against mech, but the problem is this feels very late. Wouldn't be surprised if in a couple of moments here, uThermal blindly starts making Thors. The Banshee does get the Hydrogen, okay. Does get the Den. We can see there is no Roach Hydra, but Lambo might be trying to fake that out to hide the Spire. Oof. Tank flow is going off. But the Spire is more than halfway done, and currently no anti-air. Again, seeing that Hydrogen, it may just force uThermal into just like ground focus army. He doesn't know. Okay, Mutas can be useful here. The cap above. Tanks forcing the way further in. These 2 tanks are exposed, and they will go down. So let's pick up 2 tanks at the same time. This center base is going to fall. Spire is done, but alas, no muta production out of Lambo. Oh, he's not concerned about mutas. He's going straight for the greater Spire. There's no anti-air here. Mutas would have been amazing. They would have been amazing. There, now we have 6 mutas in production. They're late. Mutas are late. Fungal lands, does catch out a second tank. Barely gets one. Yeah, barely gets 2. Remember, he's running out of support. Running out of Hellions. And the mutas have arrived just in time, and again, nothing shoots up. There are only tanks and Hellions. Yeah, Thor production now has begun, but very late. Very late Thors here by uThermal. He should have recognized. He's like, hold up. Even though he scouted the Hydrogen, where were the Hydras? There weren't any. No Hydras, so we should have seen Thors earlier. Late reactions out of uThermal. uThermal, he will lose everything. GG gets called, and Lambo takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Lambo takes the lead in the series. Again, uThermal, he had a nice start. Being able to kill, I mean, I say nice start. The Hellions were left much to be desired, but it was the Banshees. The Banshees killed 15 drones. That was an amazing follow-up here. uThermal, he was successfully getting into the mid-game. He was knocking down bases, applying pressure, but again, he was completely caught off guard by the mutas. Not just that, but even without the mutas, he would have lost the army because he had no Hellion support. His tanks were on their own, and he had very little support or very little buffer for his army, so the Ling Roach was able to just get us around. Collapse on the army. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're now getting to the end number 2. Going to be loading into the Old Republic. Let's go. Let us go. But I do appreciate that uThermal played more or less macro that last game. Had a quirky and strange opener, don't get me wrong, going into mass Hellion and mass Blue Flame, which again didn't really achieve too much, but the Banshees made up for that. What do we see here in game number 2? This morning, in the top right-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the German Zerg player. We have the Red Zerg representing Shopify, leading the series 1-0. It is Lambo. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. I have to fix up the... There we go. God damn it. We have the blue Terran player from the land of the Netherlands. It is uThermal. Calming down, we're settling in. What are the chances that uThermal goes into mech again? I would say quite high. We could see mech again here, loading into the Old Republic. But just like last game, we're waiting to see the follow-up. It should be Rax into expand into factory, but whether he goes into a 1-1-1 with a starport, a second factory, second Rax, faster third CC, that's what we're waiting for. That's what Lambo is waiting for as well. So now we are going to be settling in. And again, welcome to the Old Republic. The Old Republic is one of the larger maps in the map pool. Longer distance by ground. Does have some very open third locations. The third and fourth base are very open. I would say typically Zerg is favored on the Old Republic just because it is very difficult for the Terran player to maintain and defend a fourth base. But that would be in a standard game, and I don't expect standard play out of uThermal. No shot. Speaking of, a second Rax. So second Rax has been thrown down. We have the setup here for a 2-1-1. Could even go for a 3 Rax or even a 4 Rax 2 base all in. So how many Raxes? What's next? They poke in. It looks like it is going to be a 2-on-1. So second Rax into a factory into a delayed third CC. So we're building up towards a heavy marine count into an early stim timing. Now technically this can actually turn into a 2-on-1 Hellbat push. So we'll keep an eye on the factory. We'll keep an eye on any attempted armory. It's a very niche build, but once again, when casting uThermal, I feel like we have to think niche. So Overlord pokes in. Overlord sees everything, confirms, yep, the 2-1-1. There's the starport. And you can see, as you can see, no Hellion production. So no Hellions and no Hellbat follow-up. Just the early sim timing. Just the 16 Marines and 2 medevacs. We should be seeing a reactor soon for the add-on swap. Getting there. Likewise, Lambo back. Oh no! Catches out the Reaper. That should not have happened. The Reaper does go down, and behind this, Lambo is going for a Baneling Nest here. So early Baneling Nest, delayed Eva Chamber. This is not the most efficient response. This to me tells me that Lambo believes that uThermal is a little bit more committed than he is. This would help defend against like a Hellbat variation. Otherwise, typically earlier Eva Chambers are better. So Lambo's playing scared, is what this tells us. Playing very, very scared. So it is uThermal. He's he is an animal. He is an animal. There's a reason why, if you look at his in-game name, he's called Rat Gameplay. Like he's he knows, man. He knows. So Lambo playing it very safe. Oh, hold on. A 2-1-1 into BC. Hey, that's different. That was not in my mind. Speaking of niche. So a very committed follow-up here. We'll see what uThermal can pull off with this. I'm curious. Marines are about to be revealed. Now, because of the build and because of the opener, there are no spores, so that will help the BCs. Lack of spores, but the queen count should be healthy. Bearing in mind that uThermal, he's not just going BC, he's going 2 ports. He's going double starport, double BC production. Hyper committed here. He's crazy. He's crazy. Okay. Okay, going mass BC. Now, because it's going to be 2 BCs at a time, this does mean that a queen count that we're seeing here is not going to be good enough. There's only 8 queens. If they're all together, then it's going to be okay. It does force a cancel. Nice pick up here on the 4th. 4th base is denied. Bearing in mind there's no Hydrogen, it's going to be Ling Bane. So straight up Ling Bane, so no Hydras, no Spire, no Mutas, no Corruptors. Only queens for anti-air. And the queen count is quite low. Only because Lambo hasn't scouted. So uThermal does threaten dive. Spores did not finish. Much later, but they did complete. True. No spore here. Oh, no, sorry, there we go. Yeah, 1 spore in each base. BCs, they dive into the main. No Yamato. Does focus on the first queen. Gets 1. Gets 1. And, oh, barely doesn't get the other. I spoke too soon. Second queen goes down. Down to 6. 6 queens left. Only 1 transfuse. Gets a 3rd queen. It's going to be 3 queen kills. As BCs are now dropping to the 3rd. Lambo trying to keep up. Nice connection. Lambo's holding. Lambo's holding on. And sure, he lost mining in the main base, but he didn't lose many drones. That's what's important. His drone count is still relatively healthy. Still looking healthy here. Spyro's on the way. We're still not stopping with the aggression. Now he's moving in with 2 more BCs. We need those corruptors. The Spire can be targeted down. Oh! Ooh, clutch transfuse. Very clutch. Transfuse, they barely do hold their own. Oh no! Does miss the transfuse. BC's in the main, dropping to the main as well. Oh no! Yeah, Lambo's left idle. Lambo's distracted. And he's being torn apart. He's being torn apart here. Oh no! We do see 1 BC going down to the Spore. But uThermal, can he do it? Corruptors have arrived. And the Corruptors, they will chase down one of the battle cruisers. Yeah, BC goes down from here. Lambo, he needs his Link Bane. He's got his 1-1 upgrades. Oh, was that a kill? Ah, that was a kill, not a cancel. Oof. The hatchery did go down. And as the dust settles, where exactly are we? Now, on the one hand, we had some nice damage with the BCs. The problem here is 19 drones went down, good economic damage. Lambo, he's redroned. He's redroned, he's resaturated. Lambo, he's now focusing on building up his army. The other downside here is what did we sacrifice going into double BC production? Well, the upgrades. 1-1 is very late here. It's very, very late for uThermal. It's very common to have the Terran player ahead in upgrades. That is not the case here. I will say that +2 is delayed for Lambo at least. So +2 melee. Oh, the contamination though. Let's go. Contaminate. As Lambo's building up his Link Bane. That's what's most important here. uThermal does tend to move in. It does attempt. Catching in the Queen. At the same time, Lambo does catch some reinforcements. At least he tries to. Leagues are clumping. Tank does go down. Bailey's are rolling towards the mineral lines. Does he get in? Stuck on a move. There we go. Very nice save by uThermal. Yeah, hot pickup, saves what he can. Bailey's, they do crash in. Ooh, and uThermal's exposed. Yeah, uThermal is exposed. The pants are down. Tanks, they get caught out. No, he gets caught with his pants down. uThermal, get out of here. Pull out, does pull away. BCs, they're going to be shut down. Remember, they just teleported, so they cannot escape. They cannot escape. They failed to kill the expansion. uThermal down to 0 BCs. Still no +2 melee out of Lambo. Aye. He's got the money for it. Slipped his mind. Mind, but Lambo, he has plenty of army to work with at this point. He has momentum, he's collapsing in. Oh, still lacking some Link Bane. So Lambo, he does set up that surround. There are 2 tanks, and he commits. Yeah, Lambo, he commits in. uThermal gets fully surrounded. Lose every single tank. Splits are decent, but they're not going to be enough. Yeah, not good enough here. GG gets called. And Lambo, he will take the series 2-0, taking down uThermal. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Again, a wild build out of uThermal, going for a 2-1-1 into double starport, double BC production. Crazy. And he was finding some damage. Remember, he killed 19 drones. He killed 19 drones. He was able to kill a good amount of queens as well. But unfortunately, he did have his own sacrifices in favor of this build. His third base was heavily delayed. His upgrades were delayed as well. So he had to do more damage. uThermal was more committed, and he failed to kill. He was able to do some economic damage, but he failed to kill Lambo. GG. GG, well played. With that, Lambo survived, he persevered, and he snowballed out of control. And that leads us into our next series. Into our next series here, into our next matchup. We're going to be following Lambo into his next opponent. It's going to be a PvZ between Lambo and Nightmare. Let's go.